0864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Ducks football.
Touchdown, Oregon. Byron Cardwell. That was quick.
We have to push ourselves to be the best that we want to be.
Pressured, steps up, goes down. Sack Brandon Dorless.
We think iron sharpens iron, right? You want to create that competitive environment. You have to do things that are hard.
Way down for Thornton. He's got it. He's going to score. What a stop by Oregon's Noah Sewell. Oh, what a throw. What a catch. Terrence Ferguson.
I'm excited about the energy that our coaches bring and the energy our players bring day in and day out.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Ducks football.
Right on cue. How about that? So good. Here we go. Welcome to the show. It's good to be back after a bye week. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. Jerry Allen Jorge and the coach, head coach Dan Lanning. Coach, do we need to take a break here? You out of breath?
I'm good.
You're
I'm good.
Okay.
Am I breathing heavy in the mic?
All right. No, you sounded good. You sounded good. Welcome back from a bye week, and I guess that's what we're going to talk about a little bit tonight, and that is a bye week. Some coaches like the bye week. Some don't like the bye week. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I'm a fan. I think it really gives you an opportunity to go back and evaluate your program, find out where you're at as a team, an opportunity to grow, something our players certainly need, and certainly our coaches as well. Chance to get out there and do some recruiting. But yeah, it's a good opportunity for us for us to reset, evaluate ourselves, and figure out what we can get better at.
Do you have a schedule that you've used as a coach over time for bye week types of situations, or does it depend on what the previous game was like and who you're headed into? I mean, does it change from year to year with you?
There's a process. I think, as a coach, for me, you want to try to make decisions not just based on the most recent result. You want to make decisions based on process. That being said, we reevaluate every single week. Every week we make small tweaks based on how we've performed, what do we think we need to get better at. So certainly there's a plan, and then you adapt the plan based on your needs.
So did your coaching staff is important for them too, but your team get some time off to rejuvenate? I mean, work out the kinks?
Yeah, we did a lot of things. I mean, we got an opportunity to connect with each other. That's one thing that gets lost a little bit, and the season is it's all ball, it's all football, and we took some time to have a family dinner and spend some time together. We did some community service. I think that's something that we're really prideful on is Ducks doing more. And, our guys were hungry for an opportunity to do that. And, we got a chance to charge our batteries, but we also got a chance to develop some of our younger roster, go take a peek at some future opponents. It's not just about us, but look at some things we're going to see down the road and prepare ourselves for that as well. So a lot of yoga, a lot of recuperation, that took place during that time. But it was a great week for us.
Overall, as a team, you guys are playing really well. Played well down at Arizona. Is it one of those type of situations where is there a good time, bad time, or it doesn't matter? You deal with the fact that the bye is going to fall week 4, week 8, week 11, whatever it might be. Even though you're playing some good football, and want to keep it going.
Yeah, I think our bye fell at a great time. Time will tell how we did during that bye. But again, I think you try to be process oriented and not necessarily always focused on the results. It felt a good time for us, though. We were ready for a chance to, recharge our batteries. It came back from after a trip in Tucson where you're traveling late. It's good to be able to get back, reset the battery, and have some time, especially going into a home game, to be here and become, acclimated to our new opponent.
I saw you and probably some other coaches and a lot of players on e-bikes or scooters hitting the books and academics. That had to be a big part of this because school really just got started, and the guys are trying to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, it's, I can't stress enough, this is something that's existed for a long time in college football. But you're here to be a student athlete, right? You're not just an athlete. And I thought this bye week was a great time for us as a coaching staff and, for our players to refocus on the educational piece that goes behind our program. So we got a chance to get out there and see campus. We have a beautiful campus here. Yeah. Just so happens that we had some scooters. And I haven't got to ride those very much, but that was fun.
Yeah, it looked like
it was a lot of fun.
It looked like it. Well, it's one of those ones, Coach, where coming back, and you mentioned it at the press conference yesterday, Otsa Stadium's going to be rocking. Really something to look forward to. I mean, it's fun to look forward to every home game in this stadium, but this one is one of those ones that doesn't happen all the time. Hope to make it happen all the time, but this is one of those ones.
Yeah, it's special. And, this one's not just about the game. I don't know if everyone realizes how much of an impact having, game day, having the late show makes an impact in recruiting, right? So this is really our chance for fans to even have more of an impact beyond just the game, because we have a special atmosphere at Otsa. This game, the environment for our game is going to be really unique. But it's also really special that our people get up at 6 a.m. I hear some people might camp out over there on the quad, and they make that game day environment a special experience. We're going to have some great players on campus from all across the nation that can make an impact on our program in the future, and events like this make that a lot of fun.
What's your message to the team with all that going on? Because that's a lot.
It's like homecoming for a high school coach, right? That at the end of the day, all that's going on because the game's so special, right? And how do we make the game special? We go out there and we execute on the field. That's the small piece of the pie that we're in charge of, but it's really the piece of the pie that everybody cares about, right? And nobody cares with all the fanfare and hoopla. Well, all that's really great for our program. It's a phenomenal thing for our program. The reality is we're all going to have a sour taste in our mouth if we don't go out there and take care of business on the field. So our players understand the main thing. They got to keep it the main thing. That doesn't mean we can't enjoy the environment and the atmosphere, because when you come to a place like Oregon, you come here for moments like this.
And there are going to be a lot of those moments, I'll just tell you right now. The week off, coming out of a very successful game against Arizona. Everybody's talking about how good you are, how players are great and everything's perfect, but you get an extra week to deep dive into your team and their performance and really break down what's good and what's bad. Talk about what you did during that week as far as dissecting your team and trying to get better in certain areas.
Yeah, we started individually with each player on our team. Every single player on our team had a personal individual improvement plan, right? And it's just like a student in the classroom. What am I going to focus on my attention to get better at? And we did the same thing on each side of the ball. What can we get better at offensively? What can we get better at defensively? What can we get better at in special teams? And we evaluated that. We showed our players evidence of where we're at. And then where we're going and how we're going to fix some issues. So, and then try to build that into our practices. We had great practices on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this past week that we were really able to attack that, and it's continued to be part of what we're attacking this week.
I look at it and look at this game against Arizona that you played, and players like Jaleel Florence, who got a chance to play some really meaningful minutes after Dante Manning obviously wasn't able to finish that game. But talk about the importance of getting guys into big time situations in a first half of a game like that, how that's going to benefit you and the defense going on.
Yeah, there's no replacement for experience, right? And I don't think we always get to pick what kind of experience we have, right? Your time might come as the last couple minutes in a game. Your time might come in the last 3 quarters of the game. But when you get your opportunity, what do you do to take advantage of it? And you can't replace experience. Experience for a young player is really so critical and special. And I think that was big for him and big for a lot of our players that were able to get in and contribute.
He is head coach Dan Lanning. It is our coaches interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. Got a lot more questions, a lot to talk about. Top 10 matchups. Oregon, UCLA at a scream at Otsa Stadium this Saturday afternoon. I can't wait. More on the show after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales. Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
The ins and outs of all things Ducks. This is Oregon football from Learfield.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. I'm Jerry Alabajorgi, head coach Dan Lanning. It's our Pepsi coaches interview, and we are in our Country Financial Studios. I wanted to ask a question about football, and it's coordinators, in fact, all coaches deal with statistics to help you decide what you're going to do in a game, how you're going to do it, go for it on fourth down, wherever in the field, or two-point conversion. But analytics lately have just blown up. Kind of, to me, almost gotten kind of ridiculous. As a head coach with a coaching staff, do you appreciate all of the numbers that are, or do they get in the way sometimes?
I think there's still something to be said for a feel for the game. That being said, I like having all the information and then making the decision later on, right? But it's always special to have that information in front of you, and then you get to make a choice. If you're able to, actually process that quickly and have a plan before you enter the game, to me, that's the best plan, is to know what do you feel good. Because, analytics might say you need to go for it on fourth down. Well, you better like the fourth down call you're going to call, right? And you better know a little bit about your opponent and what they're going to do. And if you don't feel comfortable about getting that fourth down, well, now maybe it's not such a good idea to go on fourth, right? And processing some of that stuff before you ever enter the game, to me, is the best practice.
Yeah, well, you talked about it heading into the BYU game, some of the decisions that you made even before the game as to when you were going to go on fourth down, and we've seen it a couple times this year in league with Jonathan Smith against Fresno State, Oregon State down there.
Yeah.
Going from looking like they were going to kick a field goal to score to Utah this last week going for two to end that game and not let it go any further. So sometimes it's a feel too, isn't it?
Yeah, there's definitely some pieces of that. I like to think that we make most of those decisions before the game really happens. That being said, there's certainly times we've changed our mind within the scheme of the game because of how the game's being played.
Your rotation of running backs, I mean, you've got 4 running backs plus a quarterback averaging over 6 yards a carry. So you've got a lot of tools in the cupboard there. Do you go into a game already knowing pretty much, because you've done the job working against your opponent, who you want to use in situations, or is that a feeling as you go throughout the game? Because you got a lot of great running backs.
Yeah, it's great to have great players, and our guys work extremely hard. I think that's also credit to our offensive line and the job that they do. But that being said, yeah, we generally have a plan going into the game, like, okay, here's how we feel like we'll utilize each guy, and then you hope certain situations show up to where you can take advantage of their talents.
I'm glad you brought up the running backs, because I had that down as all the questions I wanted to ask. Just how hard they're running right now. I mean, again, offensive line doing a great job. There's no doubt about it. But that reckless abandon that they run with, and yet in control at times too. Right. It's amazing. And obviously, running back coach has a lot to do with that in the way that those guys work in practice.
Yeah, Coach Locke coaches coaches those guys extremely hard. He has a passion for it. He played the position. I think that shows up on the field when you watch our guys run. They run really hard, and guys block really hard for them because they know how hard they work.
We get to do a lot of interviews throughout the week, each week, and as you get bigger games, more and more people want to talk about Oregon. A lot of the questions we've been getting, and I've had this week, are about Bo Nix. What's changed with Bo Nix? Why is he all of a sudden as good a quarterback as he is? Where did that come from? How did that happen? And I said, you know what? I'm sure maturity and coaching, a lot of things. But, talk about Bo Nix because he seems to have found his rhythm.
Bo's a great quarterback. We've known Bo's a great quarterback, right? I think I don't know how long I feel like I've sat up here and said we know he's really good. He's going to be really talented for us, and I think everyone's seen what we've known, right? And he's operating at a really high level right now. Our offense is out there they have a great plan. He's making great decisions, and I think every week we've talked about ball in jeopardy plays, and he's not putting the ball in jeopardy, and he's is able to play with his feet, and that's a special trait at quarterback. So everything that's shown up from Bo to me is what we expect from Bo, and I know he can play at a really high level consistently, and that's what we're seeing.
I love it. By the way, cardinal sin, I forgot to turn my phone off. That was my ding.
What was
ding.
It? Okay. Maybe you're getting a phone call.
He is. I got to run the stairs. I got to do something.
I know. Throw a flag at him. Would you real
Don't
quick?
Throw the flag.
Yeah. He's playing confident, though. That's the thing about it right now. He's just really confident about everything he does, the decisions he makes. And again, the pressure that is on a defense when you have a guy like that. And you're going to see it with UCLA, obviously, too. With DTR, puts a ton of pressure on a defense, doesn't it?
Yeah, ultimately, when any moment, you can have an explosive play with Bo and the way our offense is operating, that's really special for us. But also him having the awareness and understanding that I don't have to create a touchdown every play, right? We got good backs. We got good personnel around us. Let's just operate inside the system and take advantage of what's given to us, and he's done a good job of that.
There's one thing I think we've noticed, and it may be just that we're trying to read something into it. You get in that red zone or that 10-yard line, and the freshman, Jordan James, seems to come in a lot in those situations. Is he kind of a specialized back for the inside the 10-yard line?
We've really used Jordan a lot in our bigger personnel groups, right? So you've seen that a lot when we've had 13, 14 personnel on the field, and certainly that package has shown up for us probably more inside the red area. But he's a guy that could play any situation, but that's one of the situations we've used him a lot this year.
Well, another great way to finish the first half is start the second half. And again, not that it happens every single game, but a lot of games this year, you guys have been really, really good at the end of the half and started off with a fury to start the second half. That was no different down at Arizona.
Yeah, always our plan. We spend a lot of time talking about the middle eight, the last 4 minutes of the second quarter and the first 4 minutes of the third. And our guys have done a good job of understanding what that means and what it looks like, being able to transition from 2-minute to 4-minute mode, whatever that might be, and then being able to take advantage of getting the ball in the second half.
Got to talk a little bit about your opponent, UCLA. Yeah. It's amazing to look at the stats and see how nearly alike these teams are in a lot of categories. So this is going to be two heavyweights going against each other. You hear some coaches say you want to take a team like UCLA or the Ducks and make them one-dimensional, take something away from them. But I don't know, against a team like UCLA and certainly the Ducks, is that really a game plan, or do you have to play more safe? How do you approach a game like this?
Yeah, it's hard. You look at both of our teams, and they're both really well balanced, right? And I think what they've proven, both our offense, their offense, and really the teams in general, is that they can beat you either way. So if you take away one, they could probably take advantage of you in the other. And I think that's a little bit coach speak, saying we're going to take away what they do best. We want to control this game. But they're really talented, and they're really well coached, and they do a really good job. They understand what they're trying to do. You can't be all in on one side, that's for sure.
Yeah. Two teams that are playing really physical ball to line of scrimmage, too, offense and defense. Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily expect that from UCLA this year. I don't know why, but at the same time, I just didn't. And it has been. They've played physical on both sides of the ball, and you guys are too. So trenches are going to be huge this week.
Yeah, it's a big
game. Always are.
Oh, like you said, they are. They always are. You want to win up front. That's where it starts. You play with the brand of physicality that's necessary to win football games. And for us, we feel like that shows up in Tuesday, Wednesday practice, right? And I know they pride themselves on the same thing. They do a good job of running the ball, moving the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be a fun challenge for our guys.
Well, I got a final question for you, and that's, are you a different guy on the sideline now as a head coach than you were before? More animated? I'm wondering, do you go home sometimes after a game and your wife Sophia says, "Hey, well, I was watching the game and you were kind of out of control down there." I mean, what kind of a guy are you now compared to what you were before you became a head coach?
I don't know if there's a big difference. I don't know if I'm animated or not. I don't think I'm that animated. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, no. I try to be the same person I've been this whole time, and I have passion for the game, right? I think that's really clear, and I think your players take on the personality of your coach, and you want to play this game with passion, but you also want to live within the moment, right? And you can't let your highs get too high or your lows get too low. But does that mean I'm going to fist bump sometimes? Yeah. Am I going to look somebody to run into? Absolutely. And I love those moments. That's what makes football so special. It's the brotherhood. It's the getting out there to compete. It's getting to see things that took place in practice be executed on the field in a game. So I love that. I love everything about the sport of football. And certainly I hope my coaching carries that over, but I also want to make sure I stay even keel.
You're pulling it off perfectly. I love your excitement on the sideline. It's genuine. You can see it, but it's controlled excitement, and that's cool.
There you go.
All right, we got to let you get out of here. We got a game to prepare for and a kicker to talk to Camden Lewis.
There you go.
Talk about guys you can count on. He's one, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely a guy we can count on. He's done a great job executing for our team this year, and excited to see him continue to do that.
All right, go get ready for UCLA. I'll see you at practice tomorrow, and we'll do
fun.
this again. All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
you guys have
Coach.
a good one.
He is head coach Dan Lanning. Our coach's interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi inside the Country Financial Studios. We'll go away and come back. It is going to be Camden Lewis coming up a little later on, and we got a lot of questions, a lot of fun stuff to talk to Cam about. He's going to be a great interview coming up. We'll tell you why we're doing it and Joey is not when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Jerry, Georgie, and Joey after this timeout. You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry Allen, Georgie, and number 49. Now, you probably don't recognize him when you watch him play. Camden Lewis
right.
joins us on the show tonight.
Yes,
number 49. Hey, you've been 49 since the day you got here, too, haven't you? You never changed numbers?
Nope, I have not. I was given to me when I got here, and I've just kept it.
What was your number like in high school? Did you have a special number at all? Or
yeah, I wore 42, but I don't know if you guys remember Matt Wogan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's also from Charlotte, and he was my one of my coaches in high school. So when I got here and I saw I had 49 too, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Did you ask for 42?
No, I didn't ask for anything. I just kind of was like, yeah, I'll take what I get, you know.
Yeah. Charlotte, North Carolina, East Coast guy. Long way from home. Why Oregon? What brought you all the way out here?
Well, I mean, it was just such an incredible opportunity. Matt was a huge influence for me. I've talked about him a lot in the past before. I was committed to Minnesota for a while. I loved it up there. I was set on going there, but a few weeks before signing day, Coach Bobby Williams, who was the one who recruited me, he came to my high school, and he came to my house. Actually, my mom made him burgers, and he was a great salesman, of course, as all coaches are. But I came and took my official visit out here, and it was incredible. I couldn't say no.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned mom fixing burgers, so talk a little bit about family.
Yeah, I've got such an incredible family. My mom, my dad, my brother, they've always been such a great support system for me, and someone I can always rely on. They're always there. They're always there to talk. Super supportive. My mom's the most stressed mom on the planet on Saturdays, but that's just part of the job description, I guess.
Okay, but before we get too far into your life, Joey Mack normally is sitting here doing this interview. Joey and his wife and son are on their way. Actually, they're down south, San Francisco, his grandfather's memorial service, so he couldn't be here this week. So we get to interview you, and that's why Joey is not here with us tonight, but he'll be here for the game. But he does a thing with every player that he interviews called the 2-minute drill. It's your life story in 2 minutes.
Oh, geez.
So we're gonna time you. We're actually gonna time you, and you can start from the beginning where you're born and raised, and all the way up to right now. Now I say 2-minute drill because we'll time you, and there have been, I think the best time so far is 1 minute and 59 seconds.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't have to try to beat the 2 minute.
No,
just be as close as possible.
Yeah,
just be close.
Yeah.
So comfortably tell us in 2 minutes your life story.
And don't
Camden
think about
Lewis.
the time, by the way.
I was going to say I don't want to be counting in my head.
No. Are you? Whenever you start, we'll start the timer.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah. So I grew up in. I was born in New Hampshire. We moved down to North Carolina when I was 3 or 4 years old. Just better schools, better jobs for my family, and I grew up playing soccer. I love soccer. I still do. I watch all the Premier League stuff, all that kind of stuff. I'm still super into that. But my mom told me one day when I was a freshman, she was really close with the special teams coach at my high school, and she said they need a kicker. And I was like, I don't want to be a kicker. I want to play a soccer player. I had just made the soccer team as my freshman year. I just made the soccer team, and that's what I wanted to do. I want to be a soccer player. So she made me go try kicking, and I was okay at it. I wasn't anything special. Like I wasn't like, man, this is what I want to do. But for my mom, I was like, I'll play football, and it was in the same season as soccer, and I did all right. I had a game winner my first year of football. It was only like 26 yards, but I had like a 43 to send it to overtime my freshman year, and I was like, this is pretty fun, but didn't really get into it. Went to a couple camps and did really well, and it just kind of carried on. I ended up quitting soccer my sophomore year and started to get college interest and stuff, and it just took off. And I think it's one of the best decisions I ever made. Maybe the best decision my mom ever made would probably be a better way to say that, but yeah, she's been such a great support system for me, all my parents. I was another big influence with my grandfather, who unfortunately I lost right before last season, but he was a big football fan, and I was like, he had 3 daughters, so he didn't have a son, and so I was his son, you know what I mean? So he got to watch me on Saturdays, and I always play for him now still.
Oh, that's great.
Cool. All right, that's it. Yeah. Oh, that's very good. That's very good.
Yeah.
I thought I went over. And I was like, all right, I got to stop. I got to stop while I'm at 2:57. I got to stop right now. But
you did very, very, very well. You talked about your mom and your grandfather, your family.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters?
I got an older brother. He is in Charleston, South Carolina right now, and we couldn't be any more different, the two of us. But he's awesome. He's doing. I don't know exactly what his job is. He'll probably get mad at me for saying that, but he goes out on sailboats and drives them around for people.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's a great job.
Yeah,
how can
it's
I
super
sign
cool
up for that? I'm gonna probably embarrass this. There was a time when this guy who played for Oregon. He was a quarterback at Oregon.
A long time
So,
ago.
he played the game. So his heart and guts are with the team.
Yep.
There was a time when Oregon kicked a field goal, he wouldn't look. Okay? He was so
I
nervous.
watched yours, by the way.
Same here.
Yeah, really? No,
Yeah.
that's not right. But he would actually turn to the wall and would not look, or turn and look at me until you came along.
Yep.
And now he watches you kick. And so
changed.
you've changed
Something.
this man. You've changed this man.
Something.
So thank you for that. I appreciate
something
Good to
about
hear
the
that.
guy. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well, I'll tell you, you go from Charlotte
Yep.
right into the fire here. I mean, first year right off the bat, freshman kicking in a big season, obviously that year for Oregon, going to the Rose Bowl and everything goes with it. You talk a little bit about that, how the adjustment from high school to right into a Pac-12 season, first game against Auburn, obviously in that season, and finishing it up with a Pac-12 championship down in Santa Clara. You kicked 3 field goals in that game. I mean, that's a big leap.
Tell you
Talk
what,
about it.
I was nervous. it plain and simple. It was tough. Like coming all the way across the country, I didn't really know anybody out here. It was a lot of pressure, and I, looking back, wish I didn't put so much pressure on myself. I had priorities I wish I didn't have. Like I feel like I cared too much about stats, like too much about, things that just really don't matter to me anymore. And I struggled with a lot with it. I wasn't happy. I wasn't having fun. And that's not what football should be. Football should be fun.
Yeah.
You should be coming here to play a sport that is a sport. By definition, they're supposed to be fun. And put so much pressure on myself. Like would check my stats all the time. Like man, like this just isn't what I want it to be. Like, and then pressure builds and builds. But you compare yourself to other people. That's just going to take away all your joy. Like you just need to look at the positives. I look back now. Like we went 12-2. I have a Rose Bowl ring. Like. And I wasn't happy. Like, are you crazy? You know what I mean? Like, I can't even believe that I was in that mindset. So, shifting out of that and just thinking about like this field goal affects my team. Like it doesn't matter. Like my feelings don't matter. Like what I care about. Like those things are unimportant. I need to worry about the effect of my kick and like what's it gonna do. Like it. And it's hard when you come in and you put so much pressure on yourself to do that right away. So that was definitely one of the biggest changes for me that I've worked on.
Wow. He is Camden Lewis, number 49. You see him kicking. He'll be kicking on Saturday. Hopefully lots of extra points, lots of field goals. Just kick. We'll come back and talk more. A lot of questions for Cam after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Chris Jakimick, I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to our Toyota Coaches Show. It's our guest segment. That's where we get a chance to talk to the young man who played the game, Camden Lewis, number 49. Junior, I was going to make you a sophomore. You probably want to be a senior now. But you came in as a freshman and played right away. Were you ready? Did you expect that, or was it a surprise?
It was definitely a goal of mine. I was like, coming in, I was like, yeah, I want to play as a freshman, but you're looking back, it might have been so bad to get a redshirt year and get more comfortable because coming in, it's a lot of pressure right away. Obviously,
can't imagine. Can't imagine.
You've had to work through, a lot of things over time. I mean, we were talking about while we were during timeout, golf and kicking and the mental aspects of it and that type of deal. And I've heard you talk about Corey Schaefer, mental performance coach that you've worked with. So just briefly mention a little bit the work that you've done with him, that he's done with you, and how that's helped.
Yeah, he's been super helpful for me. One of the biggest things he's told me is you are not your scorecard. And like I was saying earlier, like not worrying about statistics, not worrying about anything. And you are not your scorecard means the end result doesn't matter. You can't control the end result. What you can control is what happens before, in my case, you make contact with the football. What's going through my head, like what am I saying to myself before I kick the ball, really is what it comes down to. And that's hard. That was hard for me, like a hard switch to make, and it's something I worked on during this fall camp because I was like, I had a position battle to win, and I was like, man, I got to make kicks. I can't miss field goals, or I'm not going to be the starter this year. So what I did was I charted myself. Like, of course, we get the charts. The coaches send us, you made this many kicks, missed this many kicks. I didn't look at that. I worried about, was I mentally locked in? Did I say my mental checks before every kick today? Yes or no? Like, was I 100% on my mental game every kick? And if it was yes, great. If it was no, okay, now I know what to work on tomorrow. But usually when it was 100% yes, it was also 100% yes on the field.
Is it quiet just before a kick? Do you hear the crowd?
No. It's funny. I actually prefer there to be more people in the stadium because then I can't hear the other sideline because they say some brutal stuff. Yeah. Yep. You'd think home games
was just in the piles,
You'd think home games would be good, but like everyone gets quiet. Like, our kicker's on the field. Be quiet. No, I can hear them. Like,
so get loud.
Yeah, like they're making me laugh right now. Like you guys gotta make some noise.
That's great.
Jorgie, he grabbed this football and he's.
Oh
you got to ask him about that.
Yeah. So I know you've talked about different. Yeah, and Terry is the uprights, by the way.
Okay.
As he puts his hands up in the air, I'd love to see a kick in his face, but that's okay. So you talk about focusing on the ball.
Yeah.
Right? Focus on the ball. I mean, you go through routines and that type of deal, but focus on the ball. So how do you focus on the ball when it hasn't been snapped yet? I mean, the ball comes from the center, comes to the holder who you have to have a ton of trust with. We could talk about that if we ever have time. The trust that you have to build with all kinds of people, and they build with you. But so if I give this ball to you, talk about, number one, focus on the ball. And then number two, depending on the length of the field goal, do you focus on a particular part of the ball when it gets put down? Do you have time to do that? I mean, just take us through. It's a bang, bang, bang type of deal. So.
Yeah. It's funny. I was watching the Chargers game and Dustin Hopkins' interview after. They're like, he was kicking with the bum leg, and they're like, how far back could you have gone? And he was like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could have gone back as far as you want. Because realistically, to us, every kick is the same kick. If I kick an extra point, it's going to go just as far as a 50-yard field goal. Because if you start to adjust and make differences, like, then you're just going to lose consistency. So
your impact point on the ball is the same every
no matter
time.
What. I mean, maybe if we're kicking a 65-yard field goal and it's like, we got to drive it, maybe. But no, it really does not matter. I want to do the exact same swing every single time. And that's how you build consistency.
Like golf. Process. Yeah, like golf.
Like golf.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm super consistent at golf.
I was going to say you developed into a lifestyle that sort of includes that four-letter word, golf, which is what I consider to be, because I can't play at all. You have a brotherhood. It's something special among kickers, punters. You guys I see out there working together all the time. You're with the team, but many times you're separate, going through routines and helping each other. Talk about what that brotherhood is like.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone's like, we're also our biggest competitors. We all compete with each other for one spot. We have a bunch of kickers, a bunch of punters, and we're all best friends. coaches bring in guys to compete with you. We just brought in Andrew Boyle, and he's was meant to come compete with me for the field goal spot, and we go golf every weekend together. We're best friends. Like it's crazy how a common thing you guys do can really bring you together. And we both want the same goal. Obviously, we all want the same goal, but going off to another field, all of us, and just training together is one of the reasons why I trust them so much and why I don't need to see the ball when they're snapping and holding it, because we get so many reps with Carson snapping, Adam holding. Like, it just becomes second nature. You just know the ball's going to be there. Like, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Like, it becomes muscle memory, which is so important when you're going out there and the pressure's on. But yeah, it brings us to close together for sure, especially when we share those moments out in the field together, highs and lows. Like, we're the ones that need to be there for each other.
All the things that create that cohesiveness, right?
Yeah.
The trust, the chemistry, and everything else. All those sometimes is the things that are off the field as much as what is on the field.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you if you could do this. I'm just trying to visualize. You go through the process, and it's the same every time. Steps, get ready, and you're ready to go. If the holder were to say to you, okay, close your eyes, I will let you know when the ball's down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could kick a field goal or an extra point without actually visualizing or seeing yourself do that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, if I'm running at the ball with my eyes closed, that probably wouldn't be the best thing.
Yeah.
But if you're saying, yeah,
it's such a process
because your body just reacts. Like when you go out in the field and you're almost like numb, you know what I mean? Like your body just reacts. Yeah. You've done it so many times that at this point it's just going to happen. So I would say, yeah, probably.
Okay, I'm expecting you to close your eyes for at least one kick this weekend.
Just don't tell Just don't tell Coach.
Just don't tell Coach.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's so many things I want to ask you. Memories. You got to have a ton of memories. Not, forget the Washington State, kick in the wind at the end. That was nice. It was a big deal. But,
it was right down the middle.
What was that like? I mean, yeah, you've got to have some of those memories that just, you lay in bed at night or you're talking with friends having a brew or whatever. It's like, wow, remember that?
I think the hardest kick I ever had was at Washington. We had a 46-yarder. Into the lakeside. Their stadium's, it's got the lake on one side. It's open on that side. So the wind comes from that way, like off the water. And I remember telling Coach before the game, he's like, what's your range going this way? I said 45. Other way, as far as you want. We're good. And I told him 45 yards is my range, and first field goal of the game going that way is 46 yards. I was like, all right, here we go. Here we go. I was like, I'm going to kick it as hard as it's tough to see on video, but I was back in the back of my stands looking up at the uprights. I could feel it, the wind. And I was like, man, this is going to be interesting. It was coming off the left side. I aimed at the right upright, and the ball finished down the middle. So it went, it came back, and went in by maybe a yard. And I was like, that felt pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
The Washington State kick was easy. It was right down the middle. I shouldn't have missed that one.
Okay. Nothing to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it. It's a thrill.
You don't get very many opportunities to make a tackle. As a kickoff guy in particular. Now, this year, not having to worry about that piece of it. But other than the fact that if you've had to make a tackle, that means the return man's done a pretty good job against a kickoff coverage team.
Or a bad kick.
Yeah, or potentially a bad kick. Does it feel good to make a tackle, though?
No, it hurts.
Doesn't it feel good to actually go?
You never had to make a
tackle.
No, it does not. It does not feel good at all.
You think about all the interceptions I threw. I had to make a lot of tackles, okay?
It feels good to kick the ball and see it go down the middle. That's what feels good.
Yeah. All right.
No. Maybe.
You know what I mean.
If I ever had a big hit, maybe it wouldn't feel good, but it might might be pretty cool.
Okay.
I don't ever want to have to do that.
He's got 3 tackles, by the way. In his
Do I
career.
really?
3 total tackles,
yeah.
I don't believe that.
3.
I don't believe that for a second.
2 solo and 1 assisted. I looked it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm guessing is
if you go back and watch those, it's probably not what you think.
Or you had your eyes closed.
Yeah.
That's why you don't remember it.
Please. Don't.
No. All right. Final question for you, Joey. I'll always ask this question, and that is going to take you back in time. You already talked about this a little bit. But let's go back to when you were 17, just coming out here, 18 years old. I mean, you came early. If you could go back and tell yourself then what you know now, what would you tell your freshman self?
Oh, there's a million things I wish I could tell myself. But at the same time, I wouldn't go back and change anything that happened because it all made me who I am today. So I think it was all important that I went through everything I went through. But say it could all go perfect, I would tell myself, just have fun. Don't put don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter. Like, you just need to enjoy it. Like, you just need to find the positive. There's a positive in everything. There's always something you can take positive, even a missed kick. Like, find a way to get better. There's always something positive. Yeah. And I didn't understand that. I thought everything had to be perfect or I stunk. And I was like, that's just not the truth,
Well, you've grown tremendously.
Oh, it's just amazing.
Wonderful personality, obviously very, very talented. It was a pleasure having you on, getting to know you a little bit, and the fans get to know you too. Looking forward to you kicking a lot on Saturday.
Yeah,
okay?
And not making any tackles.
Making no tackles.
Better not have to make any tackles as a field goal kicker.
He is Camden Lewis, number 49, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Great to have him in here with us tonight. We'll see him on Saturday, and we'll come back and talk some more about this weekend's game on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Jerry and Jorgie, Camden Lewis. What a pleasure. What a pleasure. Every student athlete we've had in here is just amazing.
Yeah, just to see the progress, and the maturity of these student athletes as they come in as these young, teenage-looking 18-year-olds, and all of a sudden it just completely changed before your eyes in 3 or 4 years, let alone just, with Camden Lewis in relation to the mental aspects that are the challenges of a kicker, frankly. I mean, it's that way with all players in one way, shape, or form, but it's even bigger, I think, at times for a kicker, and we even talk about golf being similar to it. It's just, it really is. But I'll tell you what, 20 of his last 23. Okay, last 2 years, including perfect this year, but 20 of his last 23.
That's why you're watching him. It's
pretty
turning
amazing.
Your head to the
That's
wall.
right. I love watching the guy kick.
It's so funny. It's so great. Hey, game day, September 23rd, 2000. First time they were here in Eugene, out on what are now the practice fields outdoors. Mike Bellotti was the head coach. UCLA was the team, and Oregon won that game. So, and there have been a lot of them in between that. How many? Well, let's see. I think 10 previous times the show has come to Eugene. Oregon is 7-3 in the 10 previous times. So, yeah, a lot going for it. It's over in the quad on campus. Starts at 6 in the morning. Students are already camping out. Scott, is that what you said? There's already somebody already getting ready. They're not going to let them into the pit area till 4 a.m. For those of you who have not been to one, or if you have been to one, it's time to show up, okay? Time to show up and show off what the University of Oregon is. This is a big stage. Game day is a real deal, and I think a lot of universities are measured by how well you show up on game day. You just are.
Yeah. Well, what it does for this university as a whole, let alone just the football program and everything goes with it. The city of Eugene, the state of Oregon, when game day is here, the eyes of the football country are on where game day is. That's the first thing that people flip on, and got to show well. It's been that way every single year. I expect nothing different this time. And
please be a part of it.
Man, is Saturday going to be fun here at Outson Stadium too.
We're going to get out of here, come back, and wrap it up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Jerry Allen with Jorgie. Joey, we missed you. Looking forward to having you get back here on Saturday and joining us on the sideline with your rain gear on. I'm sorry. This got to get keys to the game. Jorgie, Oregon, UCLA. It's going to be a big game.
Yeah. Well, you hear me talk about it all the time. Line of scrimmage and run the ball. Right, Scott Phillips. You have to run the ball. And both teams love to run the ball, but they'll do whatever they can to get yards and get points. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Yeah. So that's what I look forward to.
Against an offense like UCLA's and against Oregon, if you're playing against Oregon, you have to be disciplined, all right? You cannot let DTR start, running around back there, making plays or get outside. So you got to really be disciplined. The back end, the pressure on DTR is going to be important. You got to get to the quarterback a few times.
Yeah, and tempo. Obviously, Chip and UCLA, they love to be able to run that tempo quickly, and they love to be able to go at it really, really quick. And so Oregon's got to be ready for that to start with and adjust to it all game long. Oregon runs tempo too, so both these teams like to do it. But the way the game starts, you got to be ready.
Yeah, it's going to be everything one would expect from top 10 matchups. Oregon and 9 and 10, depending on what poll you're going to look at, they're both right there. So this is a game that has huge, huge ramifications potentially for the end of the season. Coaches will never let you look ahead. Okay, we're only playing the game this week. It's the most important game of the season. But the winner of this game on Saturday will have a leg up. And right now, Oregon's got that home field advantage. fans, that's you. That is the home field advantage. So bring it on Saturday. We're on the air at 9:30 with our pregame show. It's a day game, 12:30 kickoff. Actually, probably about 12:35, 12:36. I got that right?
10:30.
10. Oh, we're not doing 3 hours? This is a big game. We got to do an extra hour. Okay, I'm going to do an extra hour
I'm
by
bringing
myself.
donuts.
Bring me donuts. Okay. 10:30 pregame show. We're out of here. Thanks for being there. Bye-bye. God bless everybody.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.